Most men over 40 think the only way to build more muscle is to lift heavier and heavier over time. And while there's some truth to that, it's not the full story. My clients in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are building muscle fast, not just by adding weight to the bar, but by getting more out of the weight they already lift. If you've been pushing to lift heavier, but your joints are starting to hurt and those nagging aches and pains keep showing up, this video is for you. I'm going to show you 6 powerful training techniques that'll help you build more muscle without constantly chasing heavier weights and wrecking your joints. Before we get into the techniques, it's important to understand something. Progressive overload still matters a lot. You do still need to continue challenging your muscles over time. At the end of the day, if you lift the same weights forever, you'll have the same body forever. But these techniques help you get more out of less weight. They ensure that you're actually building muscle, not just moving weight. The first technique is controlled eccentrics. Now, controlled eccentrics are just where you focus on controlling the portion of the exercise where you're lowering the weight. Now, this is not something I've always done. Back in the day, I used to lower the weight way too fast. But once I started slowing it down a little bit and actually controlling the weight on the way down, I saw much better muscle gains and way fewer injuries. Now, you don't need to count rep speed. You don't need to go 4 seconds up and 4 seconds down. That's just a tool that people use to teach control. As long as you can control the weight and avoid bouncing or jerking the weight, you're good. Counting rep tempo usually just makes you go a little bit too light and makes you lose focus on actually putting really good effort into your sets. Real quick guys, this free advice can get you started, but if you want real transformation, you need advice tailored to your exact situation. That's what I give my clients and that's why they get results. So if you're ready to finally transform your body after 40, click the link in my description below, book your free fit call with me and lock in your spot. The second technique is pauses. Now, pauses are where you just pause for a brief second at the bottom of each repetition. Now, pausing has made a massive difference for both me and my clients. You don't need to pause on every single exercise because on some exercises it's just not that practical, but on the big compound exercises, it's a massive game changer to implement a brief pause at the bottom of each repetition. It removes momentum and forces your muscles to actually move the weight. And it's also a built-in safety net because you won't go too heavy when you know that you have to pause at the bottom of each rep. So when it comes to the pause, 1 brief second at the bottom of each rep is all you need. The third technique is to get a deep stretch. So this technique builds a ton of muscle mass without requiring you to lift heavier weights. And good research shows that the stretch portion of a rep stimulates a lot more muscle growth than the contraction. So go deep. Make sure you get a full stretch on every exercise you can safely do it on. And when you do this, when you focus on getting a deep stretch, you'll naturally have to go lighter, but you'll also stimulate a lot more muscle growth. The fourth technique is to focus on doing 1 rep at a time, not many reps. So this one is more of a mindset shift. I used to be obsessed with rep targets, and most guys are. You have a number in mind with every set that you're doing, right? You have a certain amount of reps that you're trying to get, and you tend to rush to hit it. The only problem is when you do that, you start focusing on finishing the set instead of actually executing each rep. So what happens is that every single rep becomes a means to an end, not a chance to actually stimulate muscle growth. So what I recommend is to try and detach from the number. Don't think about finishing the set. Think about executing 1 perfect rep at a time. This shift alone will help you build way more muscle with the same weight. The fifth technique is to rest longer between sets. So this tip will instantly help you build more muscle without having to lift heavier. The truth is, most men over 40 don't rest long enough between sets. They rush through their workouts, trying to cram in as many sets as possible. But when you do that, every single set after the first one becomes junk. And the reason being is because you didn't give your muscles and your nervous system enough time to recover. Muscle growth mainly comes from your fast twitch muscle fibers. These are the fibers responsible for strength and size. And you can't fully recruit those fibers if you're still fatigued from the last set. So what happens is you end up lifting with less intensity and relying more on your slow twitch fibers, which are the ones with limited growth potential. So research has shown time and time again that longer rest periods of around 3 minutes lead to significantly greater muscle and strength gains compared to just 1 minute of rest between sets. So do not rush your rest. Rest long enough between sets to give your body the power to recruit the fibers that actually grow. The sixth technique is to use a training style called the polarity training style. So this is a training style that I sort of coined, and it's sort of a spin on another training style called reverse pyramid training. And the way that it works is that you do 2 sets per exercise, a heavy set followed by a lighter set. So for example, let's say you're doing 2 sets and the first one is 6 to 8 reps and the second one is 8 to 10 reps. The way it works is that you warm up to your first set, which is the heavier set, and then after you hit this set, you then take off about 10 to 20% of the weight. And then you go for the lighter back down set for a couple more reps. This training style is extremely effective and it allows you to get more stimulus out of less weight. So the first set here is maximum weight and maximum intensity. The first set builds maximum fast twitch muscle fiber recruitment, the same muscle fibers that we just talked about. And that actually carries over into the second set. So even with lighter weight on this second set here, you're actually activating more muscle fibers than you normally would if you had started with this lighter weight. So this training style helps you get a lot more muscle growth out of lighter weights. The clients who win aren't the ones chasing the next free tip. They're the ones who get advice tailored to them, and that's why they move faster, avoid mistakes, and hit their goals. So if you're ready to finally transform your body after 40, click the link in my description below, book your free fit call with me, and lock in your spot.